Download Melon Sandbox now.
Oh, goddamn. What's your...
Hi, I'm Wannabe Hero. A week ago, my perma team and I started a run that would bring us to record-setting territory. Before this, we hadn't reached floor 200 yet, and the best team in the world was leagues ahead of the competition. But soon, that was all about to change and then some. Join me as I go through the highlights of this run that ultimately beat all of our highest expectations. The team comp we used is 5 Shellies, 1 Sprout, and 2 Pebbles. The Shellies extract, the Pebbles distract, and Sprout heals or distracts in emergency situations. As of June 2025, the meta comp ran by the best teams swaps out a Shelly for a Ginger for emergency healing, but due to us only having 2 days to do the run, and the fact that we wanted to do floors faster, we decided that having more extraction speed made more sense. The Shellies are practicing duo and sync strat, which means the Shellies move in pairs and use their ability on each other at the same time. That means there is one person left out, and just like school in real life, that person is me. This means our complete machine's slower than the others, and will have to rely on extraction items to make up the deficit. But it does mean I have more freedom on where I extract, and can extract machines where there's only a few, or those that are more out of the way. Wildcard sucks! I have to do all these. The machines take so long. One final thing to point out is that the 5 Shellies have someone leading them. That is my job. I'll be guiding the extractors to where they can V-mote, telling the distractors which places are clear of machines, and I'll be V-moting difficult machines first if possible. It's important to have one extractor take a leading role, since then everyone will be on the same page, and the distractors will always know where the extractors are doing machines. Each Shelly uses V-mote and magnifying glass for the fastest extraction speed in the game, and for times where doing machines in a certain area is important. Many people like using the participation award instead of V-mote, but the V-mote outclasses it in every single way. The Sprout uses dog plush and speedy shoes to help with emergency kiting, and the Pebbles use the swap strat, meaning instead of speedy shoes, one Pebble uses the clown horn and the other uses the ribbon spool. Speedy shoes are better if one Pebble is less experienced, but if both distractors are really good, then the extra movement speed swap strat provides outcompetes any other trinket by quite some margin. Now, without any further ado, let's go! The run goes off to an amazing start. On floor 3 we get Tech Savvy, and by floor 5 we get Rehearsal. Not getting practice until floor 27 slows the early floors down a little, but but all things considered, it's still great card RNG. These 3 cards are the best for world record attempts, as they increase the speed of floors cleared. The faster we go, the further we get, and any other card is pointless because we will be getting them all by floor 41 anyway. Floor 6, and there are 2 mains already! This is totally not foreshadowing. Floor 14, and so far we've had great extraction items from the shop. 3 instructions and 2 jumper cables. This is insane! I mean, look how fast we are going! Floor 20 is where we encounter our first Twisted Pebble. As expected for a team of this caliber, we beat it flawlessly. What wasn't so flawless, however, was a Shelly deciding to run into Bloodhand for research and getting hit. It didn't matter too much though, because the team reached floor 31 in 1 hour, which is above average for world record attempts. I've reached floor 35 in an hour before, and that would have been possible here, but one Shelly AFK'd for 5 floors, which slowed us down. Whenever someone is AFK, I become a replacement duo until they return back to the game. On floor 36, there is a really smart play. A Twisted Bloodhand blocks the final machine, but nobody except the Pebble realizes that there is always a heal card available after this floor, so they purposely get hit to finish the machine. Then 7 floors later, the Sprout teleports out of the elevator and gets hit? Really strange. I hope this isn't a lag issue that will affect the run. Also no foreshadowing. Anyway, we have reached our first milestone. Floor 50, reached in 1 hour 49 minutes. This is very fast, and the quickest time I'm aware of is only 9 minutes faster. If this doesn't show how fast Shelly's extracting can be, then I don't know what does. The run has been currently easy so far, with no hiccups or struggles. But floor 69 is when something peculiar happens. Whoa, look at that! You see that? Locke's hand is stuck in the air, and the whole team is dumbfounded by it. I get curious and see if it can still hit me, and yes it can. Well, there's the first hit of the run! On the contrary, floor 72 should show you how the stealth candy is quite underrated and better than many people make it out to be. Since everyone's stealth is free, you're basically immune to all attacks while this is active as long as someone is nearby, and in turn it works similar to a smoke bomb. Watch as I make a clutch stealth candy play while gathering the Twisted at the pillars, and another great use on floor 77 when running upstairs. But I'm not the only one making crazy Shelly plays. Look at what happens here on floor 82. This guy manages to take Scraps off a Pebble, dodges the attack, and still manages to keep Scraps aggro without Pebble noticing. Sometimes you'll see some incredible moves like that, but other times you'll see someone walk into a tendril, be told to be careful, then immediately wake up R&D and get hit. More hilarity ensues when 9 floors later, Ray and I decide to try to race each other to machines for the laughs. Another goal comes to mind. At our current pace, we're about to reach floor 100 in 4 hours 20 minutes. For some reason, a few people really wanted to reach floor 100 at that specific time frame, so we tried for it. And once we did, we were celebrating by taking a 20-minute rest on the very next floor. Once we finish our break, we continue the run, and nothing particularly interesting happens for a while. We're somehow not encountering double mains yet, and other than me getting hit on floor 106, fairly might I add, nobody is taking damage, and we're all just messing around having fun. Until we hit the first small hurdle of the run. Floor 136 had a few lapses by our distractors, and they ended up needing to use their heals. We managed to recover though, and at this point we were powering through the floors. Floor 156 marks my 3rd hit due to Yatta hitting me while I wasn't paying attention, but 3 floors later it gets even worse. Floor 159 is the next difficult hurdle. Many people got hit, including me, and Twisteds are getting loose when they shouldn't be. It was chaos for almost all of the floor. We're starting to make mistakes, but will we finally lock in again? So far, there hasn't been much to comment about, since the runners ran very smoothly with very few mistakes, but now we're starting to tire. This is where things get more interesting, and therefore I'll go through the floors in more detail. At this point, we stop fooling around and begin to take the run seriously. On floor 167, we finally encounter our first double main, and it definitely won't be our last. Our first double main is Shelly, which is by far the easiest double to encounter. All mains and a grabber is more dangerous than this, but what is more dangerous is today's sorry. I meant, what is more dangerous isn't the Twisteds at this point, it's you. As in you, trying not to quit or give up. Dandy's world is difficult to master, but once you've hit the skill ceiling, it's less about difficulty and more about being able to play efficiently for hours on end without making mistakes. And it's those people that reach the highest floors compared to the ones that don't reach past 100. And why do I say that? Because at floor 185, it's getting obvious that two people are wanting to go to sleep. Tiredness and disconnecting is definitely a huge run killer at these floors, and I've been on runs before where a player gets bored of playing and decides to leave, making the floors slower for everyone else. It's quite clear to us now that people are making mistakes due to tiredness, and by the time floor 196 is over, both distractors have no more heals or box of chocolates left. We need heals, and soon. So due to us starting to play badly, we decide that floor 200 is our cutoff time, and this will be when we AFK overnight. Floor 198 has finally given us a break. It's our first easy floor in over 70 floors. The Pebbles found their box of chocolates on this floor too, but were still desperately needing heals. Thankfully, they start showing up on the very next floor, and by floor 200, all our distractors have one heal. The third milestone was reached in 10 hours and 13 minutes, or 9 hours and 53 minutes if you ignore the time you went AFK. Floor 200 has no AFK spot, so it is floor 201 when we all huddle around the stage, turn on our auto-clickers, and get some much needed rest. Because after 7 hours, we'll be playing only Dandy's World for the next 16 hours straight. But not everyone got the rest they needed. I only managed to sleep 4 hours, worried about my PC turning off in the middle of the night, and some people chose to stay up late, meaning they only slept for a few hours too. Worst of all, not everyone had their autoclicker on. The host asked us to make sure our autoclicker worked, but by the time I woke up, I found out that one Shelly didn't have their autoclicker working correctly, and they disconnected through the night. We're now down to 7 players. The person who disconnected was extremely saddened by this, and what was my greatest worry became their greatest nightmare. And that's not all. 5 minutes after we continued the run, and on the very next floor, another Shelly disconnected from the game, saying that Roblox randomly closed. So now we're down to 6 players, and we're now officially running a Shelly trio strat instead of a duo strat. If one more Shelly leaves, the host says we're officially quitting the run. I'm seriously hoping that no more disconnect. After many more floors without incident, we finally reached a floor where we struggled. Receiving all mains plus a grabber for 4 floors in a row didn't help the situation, and it wasn't long before someone made a mistake. I did a bad pass and got the pebble hit. Then the pebble got hit again shortly after, and the sprout healed a Shelly instead of them, meaning they had 1 health without a heal available. Gathering was slow, and the pebble almost died at one point, but we managed to hold firm. Until thankfully, 2 bands appeared on floor 226, crisis averted. Until 3 floors later, when we encounter our first double pebble. Never mind, we completely aced it. The next double main was literally 3 floors later, double Shelly, again. So the floor was completed without incident. At least it should have been. How on earth did my air horn not save the pebble in panic mode? Someone tell me why in the comments, because I have no idea. So far, you might have seen a frequent occurrence in this run. We play really well, then a particularly bad map and combo arrives, which puts us into a bit of a scare, then we recover, and it's rinse and repeat from there. However, 244 is by far the scariest floor yet. To start, we get the worst map in the game, and the second hardest combo. Sprout has Goob, one Pebble has Twisted Pebble, and the other Pebble has V, so I have to take the mains away from Twisted Pebble and bring them to the elevator. I'm running out of stamina, so I pop a stealth candy and let another Shelly kite. They then bring them to Fake, where Pebble has V, right as that Shelly runs out of stamina. Only now we start on machines, and due to the difficult nature of this floor, the Pebbles get hit twice, and the Sprout gets hit once. It's not long before we inevitably need to do the machines where the Twisteds are, so while we wait, take a listen to how well structured these comms are.
Okay, I'll be there. Yep, he's gonna pull, okay. He pulled. Okay, I'm here. Okay, yep, got him. Thank God.
Okay,
I'm at 50 cam. Me?
We have to switch.
Okay, yep. No, they can like sneak through and
No,
during
they
panic.
can't.
No? Oh, Pebble. Right, okay. I'm going right now to mid. Neon, watch. Oh, they got me.
They just walked onto you.
Yeah,
Oh my
they saw me. They saw me.
I can bark, I guess. Oh wait, hold on. Is the buff cooldown before I bark?
Like, yes.
I'm at
Like, I don't know where you went. Oh.
It's like halfway. 5 seconds.
Okay.
Before it goes again.
Okay, you may have to. Okay, yep.
Default.
I have Louis on me, but it's okay. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, that was
Awesome.
That was clean.
That was so clean. Things went slow due to the nature of gathering and swapping twisteds, but after an amazing play by the Sprout, the rest of the floor was a cakewalk, and at last its grueling floor is finished. At floor 247, Ray and I are still racing to machines for laughs, as she uses an eject to beat me to a machine. Wow! Did you use eject to beat me to the machine? Oh my god! But on the very next floor, we immediately play serious again, because an awful pebble spawn causes huge problems for our team. Chaos ensues, and as a result, before the floor even starts, the distractors are hit twice, including a third Shelly who's not paying attention. It's not long before the distractors quickly run out of heals and box of chocolates again. But, like before, we managed to survive, and now we have to try and get our items back. Before we do that though, we're going to take a 20-minute break on floor 250 so we can settle down and recuperate. While the break is happening, I calculate the time it took to reach 50 floors by how many hours we have left, and predict that we will reach floor 350 before the run has to end. That's if we get past floor 250, because right now the current situation is perilous. For floor after floor, no heals are forthcoming, and we have to play perfectly in order to not die prematurely. At least there's valves! But at last, at floor 257, everyone is at full heals, so we use our valves. It's a good thing too, because at floor 258, we face the hardest twisted combo in the game, Double V. There are so many ads that it's impossible to see anything, and that resulted me in getting hit for the 6th time this run. But it's even worse for the Pebble distracting because they have to deal with 8 ads instead. It's also around this time that I start to feel the server lagging. Not me, I don't lag whatsoever, but everyone lagging at the same time. The server is getting old, and it's about now when we start to feel the effects. Floor 262 wasn't anything difficult twisted-wise, but 2 specific things happened. Blot has finally spawned for the first time since that glitched hand on floor 69, and one of the distractors had to deafen due to an unknown reason. Because of this, I decided to type Sprout's cooldown in the text chat whenever one got hit, and no heal was available until 6 floors later when everyone was undeafened. Floor 270 had another double Shelly, and by floor 271 I'm starting to feel the fatigue. 4 hours of sleep isn't enough for my body, and 14 hours of Dandy's World is really starting to take its toll on me. I'm becoming much quieter in comms, and I'm missing skill check after skill check. Whenever there is a difficult floor, I wake up and focus up, but the other floors are really dragging me down, and I've got to make sure I can keep playing without falling asleep behind the wheel. Floor 274 has double Astro, meaning that we have now encountered every double main in this run except double Sprout. What's funny is that the Pebble with the Clown Horn has not been able to kite any double main combo, and they're starting to get really jealous. The next floor later, one Pebble has an emergency, so we are AFKing for 20 minutes. I used this time to go outside, water the garden, and do the outside chores my family needed me to do, to see if it wakes me up. It didn't really help. To make things worse, this emergency seems to be rather serious, to the point that the host is considering to end the run early. The teenage social anxiety in me starts wondering if I'm the problem, but thankfully it's something I didn't do. I'm now less worried about the run, but more about those involved in the emergency. There is some good news, however. On floor 281, I pull off a brilliant play by separating V from the Twisted Pebble when using my box of chocolates during the gathering phase. This gives me a second wind, and now I feel invigorated enough to feel awake once more. Better yet, the emergency has been resolved, and nobody is leaving after all. A few more floors go by, and on floor 290, we get double Pebble again. Our distractor got hit twice, meaning heals are low, but it was only a minor scare, and things soon go back to normal. What is a major scare, however, is floor 298. Not only is it double V once more, but the server is so glitchy at this point that V's ability is starting to desync, causing the slow 2 effect to occur twice and completely drain our Pebble's stamina. For all future double V floors, Sprout will kite one of the Vs due to the server bugging out. Floor 300 is another milestone, therefore another AFK floor. At this point, I've been recording for almost 19 hours, and I've been playing Dandy's World for 17.5 hours in 2 days. I've sacrificed a whole weekend for this, but I'm hoping that if we can reach floor 350, it will be all worth it. Imagine if all 8 of us were here. We could have been past floor 400 by now. After 30 minutes AFKing, we finish the floor and enter floor 301. When something particularly interesting happens. Normally, when there is a double main, the effects do not accumulate, and instead the debuff timer resets back to a starting point. This means that the best way to distract doubles is to let the double main see you at the exact same time, so that the timer resets immediately, and therefore the extra debuff does not make any meaningful difference towards the player. However, the game is so glitchy now, that like in floor 298, the debuff effect is happening twice. Notice how the 2 twisted shellies make the extraction speed minus 43.7% and minus 1.6% when boosted, instead of the usual minus 25%. I didn't really feel much difference in game, but it was indeed peculiar to watch. When panic mode happened, it lagged worse than anything so far. I'm worried that we will lose connection from the server. Floor 310 is when we got back-to-back double mains. The first one is double Shelly, yet again, and floor 311 is double V on the bad map. I got hit and so did a few others, but we managed to persevere. Double Astro appeared 7 floors later, and at this point we're experiencing at least one double every 10 floors. Fortunately for us, the debuffs aren't stacking anymore, so we're able to kite doubles as normal again.